Alex and Catherine Morris were getting married here in Quilcene over the weekend when the groom noticed some things were missing, some Bluetooth speakers that were to be used during the ceremony, as well as some alcohol and other drinks. Well, fortunately for them, in addition to the wedding photographer, there were also security cameras up at the venue, and they also had some very fortunate secret weapons at their disposal. There were a handful of police officers and sheriff's deputies in the wedding party. Well, they took a look at that security video, and one of the deputies noticed and recognized the suspect. They went and tracked him down and retrieved all of those drinks and the speakers, had everything back here before the ceremony started. The bride never knew a thing.
We're in Stevens County, just outside Spokane, and this is one of the dozens of fire stations that responded the moments after the Spokane complex fire started. Now, as the flames are diminishing, it is serving as a hub for people in the community that need financial assistance.
The American Red Cross and the Washington State Emergency Management Division are now meeting one-on-one with people who lost homes, helping them navigate grants, financial assistance, and the long road to recovery.
The focus for us now is helping to provide financial resources to people to help kickstart their recovery, and then transitioning to more into the recovery phase.
Tom Gliver lost his home in the Autumn Lane fire. Today, instead of planning how to rebuild, he's deciding whether to start over somewhere else.
Somebody kind of saved my hide. I was watching TV and somebody called me, and some close friends, and they told me that there's a big fire coming out and everything. And I finally got out, and at that time it was already an hour and a half and my house was already going on fire.
Here's a 60-second investigation, how to spot AI. I'm an investigative reporter and actually trained to look for tiny little details that can help give AI away. So first of all, if there's a person, look for warped hands and fingers, plasticky or super smooth skin, glassy or unblinking eyes, shifting teeth, and hair. And pay attention to the background too for garbled text like labels, signage, or t-shirt logos that when you look closer are actually gibberish. But here's the problem. It's getting really, really good. So this is a really key way to spot AI. Actually go to the account that posted the video or picture that you're looking at. Is there an actual person or creator behind the account? Or does the entire page look like an endless stream of perfectly produced content? Because if so, that's a huge red flag. So make sure to stay vigilant out there and give me a follow for more 60-second investigations.
是这个东西，它就不能让它蔓延就好，是吧？哦，你就上这么一个。反正快就这儿，就旁边找着他们。
We got to move the mayor along here, folks.
We've got time for subject. We got one-on-one interviews with SDOT subject matter experts.
Again, I am focused on delivering for the people of Seattle, and that means public safety, and that means transportation, and that means homelessness, and that means affordable housing, and that is the work that I'm doing.
Okay, we're going to keep walking.
Thank you, everyone.
Get the mayor on schedule.
Thank you.
The 29-year-old Olympia woman is in critical condition tonight after suffering a medical emergency while in custody at the Thurston County Jail. The Thurston County Sheriff's Office says that the woman was booked on an outstanding warrant earlier this month. Medical staff initially attributed her symptoms to narcotics withdrawal. However, her condition reportedly deteriorated over the next 3 days. She was later transferred to another medical facility. Deputies say after the incident, the jail's contracted medical provider fired the nurse who was taking care of her. They did not provide a specific reason for the nurse's termination.
Police tell us there is a unique twist to a recent overdose death at the Gorge. 26-year-old Zion Randall died on Sunday night. This photo was given to the Source One news outlet out of Wenatchee from the family. We were not able to get any comment from them today. He had a cardiac arrest Sunday night after ingesting cocaine, according to a friend. Police were able to track down the drug dealer thanks to that friend. That friend, within minutes of his buddy's death, apparently these guys were lifelong friends. After his friend died, this friend contacted the police and said, hey, I know who sold us these drugs. He's still here at the show. Let's go find him. This was at a EDM festival at the Gorge over the weekend. And apparently through an iPhone app, he set up this drug deal, and he went and was able to purchase drugs. And as soon as that happened, the police had a case. So they arrested this man on drug-related charges. But they told us today that he easily could face a homicide charge if the autopsy proves that perhaps those drugs had been mixed with some sort of toxic chemical. So this is an unusual drug overdose case out at the Gorge. We did reach out to the family. At this point, they don't have any comment to make publicly. They live here in Olympia. The young man went to Capitol High School, 26 years old.
Airlines just announced new nonstop service from SeaTac Airport to 2 more international destinations. The airline is adding Athens and Paris to its global growing network. Beginning in spring 2027, these will be seasonal flights. The trip to Athens International Airport will operate 3 times a week and will be available from May 12th through October. The flight to Paris will operate 5 times a week and will be available from May 25th through October. Tickets went on sale this morning.
Do your eyes glaze over like mine when you hear about the national debt? National debt. Here's an easy to understand perspective about this grim milestone we just hit in the U.S. The total debt of the United States just surpassed $40 trillion for the first time. How big is that? Did a little math here, and if you paid $1 million per day to pay off the national debt, it would take you 109,000 years to pay off that $40 trillion debt. Humans, as we knew it then, were literally in the Stone Age. We were actually in a global cooling period 109,000 years ago. And that's assuming that the debt doesn't stop growing, which, breaking news, it's not. More perspective, when President Trump started his first term, the United States was $20 trillion in debt. Then came COVID, then came the Biden administration, and between both presidents, the United States doubled its debt, $20 to now $40 trillion. And the Congressional Budget Office expects that number to continue growing, as you can expect. So the next time you hear about the national debt, just think about the Stone Age.
It's a great story that we're going to be able to tell. So thankful that everything had panned out the way that it did in the end.
Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson's favorability dropped 21 points in just 4 months. New poll shows 37% of Seattle voters view her favorably and 62% unfavorably. That's down from 58% favorable in April. The drop also cuts into her political base, including liberals and progressives. This poll was commissioned by Seattle Metro Chamber, which surveyed 500 registered Seattle voters last week. The most glaring issue the poll found was public safety. We've covered CCTV cameras. Mayor Wilson, since taking office in January, has made an effort specifically around housing and homelessness and public transportation. What do you think?
Here's a first-hand look at a second-hand thrift store for college students that's 100% free. It's called Green Goodbyes, and it's located on Georgia Tech's campus. Like most thrift stores, it features gently used clothes, dishware, and household appliances. But what makes Green Goodbyes unique is everything in the store was collected from students when moving out of their dorms and apartments. The store limits 8 shoppers at a time, is open to Georgia Tech students only, and all items are completely free. Organizers say it's an excellent way to extend the useful life of household goods and clothing instead of them piling up in landfills.
This experimental cancer treatment could mark a potentially huge advancement in cancer care, using an approach that seemed like science fiction just decades ago. Now it's a step closer to becoming a reality, a personalized cancer treatment based on the same mRNA technology behind the COVID vaccines to help people's immune systems better recognize and fight cancer. Moderna and its partner Merck said a late-stage clinical trial of the therapy met its goals in treating melanoma, the deadliest form of skin cancer. In patients who had surgery to remove the cancer, the trial showed that the treatment reduced the risk that the cancer came back or spread to other parts of the body. So here's how it works. Each patient's tumor is sampled and a personalized mRNA treatment is designed just for them. Then, like a vaccine, it shows the immune system how to recognize the target. The treatment is given on top of an existing therapy for melanoma called Keytruda. Now, the companies didn't yet release the full results from the study, so we don't yet know exactly how strong the benefit is. They say they're going to present those at an upcoming medical meeting. They also say that they plan to file for regulatory approval within months in melanoma. And they're also testing this in other kinds of cancer, including lung, kidney, and bladder cancers. Moderna's CEO told me he felt this was as big a day for humanity as when they showed in late 2020 that their COVID-19 vaccine worked, calling it, quote, a new chapter in cancer care. Doctors say they hope it could potentially bring about a whole new way to treat cancer.
Tonight, we have a story that's not about immigration, but actually about these gray whale deaths that we have been seeing throughout the past year. This year has been the second deadliest year for gray whales since 2019, and nobody has a more vested interest in these whales than the Makah tribe near Nia Bay. If you don't know, the Makah tribe is in the northwesternmost corner of the United States, and they have been stewards of these gray whales since time immemorial. They have relied on these whales for food and sustenance, and then they have also developed a spiritual connection to these animals as time passed. The Makah tribe is the only tribe in the North American area that has a treaty right directly reserved for whaling and sealing. But the last time they were able to do this was in 1999, and it was a difficult time for the tribe because a lot of animal rights activists showed up. They attempted to sabotage the hunt. So tonight's story focuses on not just the treaty right, but also what the Makah has been doing to steward the whale population and what it means to them to see all of them die so much at once.
Remember the old Olympia? It's the water brewery. Well, that's here in Tumwater, just down the street from where I am. This is a brewery and a distillery here. South Puget Sound Community College uses this as a lab. It's the only school in the country that offers a 2-year degree in cider making, distilling, and brewing. And they just this year released a beer produced by this recent graduate, Martin Lee. It's a 100% student produced sour saison. I tasted a little bit, it's pretty good. It is being sold here locally in Thurston County, and all of the proceeds will go back to this program to pay for scholarships and to pay for maintenance and pay for lessons for students like Martin here to go off on his own and become a brewer with a degree from the South Puget Sound Community College.
Headed to Kirkland to Tanaka Ramen and Izakaya. So delicious. The happy hour, highly recommend. I got everything on the seasonal menu and then obviously had to get the sake flight, gyoza, and wait for it, ramen bowls. Delicious.
Leah, you're back now with a very unique explainer on why our snowpack is so important for protecting this critical source.
I think it's important to give you a visual of why our snowpack, why we talk about it every year, especially in the context of glaciers. So I have created a glacier. It's ice cream. I'm going to stick it right here in the middle. Okay, Mimi, I need you. You're wearing yellow. You are our sun.
Yes.
So add some heat to that. Okay, glacier, sun. Snowpack every single year falls. This is a protection over the glacier. Christine, I'm handing you the snowpack. Give us a bad snowpack.
Okay. We'll do a little flurry.
Little flurry.
Yeah.
Okay. That's going to melt quickly. And then as we head into summer months, the snowpack is gone. That leaves the glacier to melt. But give us a good winter.
All right, let's do more.
This is a La Nina. We love it. Blizzard, multiple blizzards. Blizzard, blizzard, blizzard. Okay? That's going to protect the glacier. That will slowly melt through the summer months. So by the end of the season, the glacier has not been touched. It's basically like a safety blanket. That's why we care so much about snowpack in the context of glaciers. And keep in mind, these glaciers take thousands or hundreds of years to form, and our glaciers in the North Cascades are thousands of years old. So this is incredibly crucial. We want to protect them at all costs. And Rich, you've lived on a glacier. You can speak about this forever.
Those they call them mass balance measurements. You measure how much ice melts, so you know how much water left the glacier. But then the snow is also important because the snow that's left over, I mean, it's a river of ice. The snow that's left over and gets covered by the next season's snow eventually becomes that ice that feeds the glacier. So if that snow's gone, it's not getting fed and it's being melted away and they disappear quickly. And that's happening to a lot of the glaciers up there in the North Cascades.
Yep. And that's why we should care about our snowpack for multiple reasons.
And we're talking about it right now because that snowpack is gone. So this is the time of the year where they actually measure the glaciers. So that's why we talk about it in the summer.
Thanks, Leah.
It's a terrible measurement. I've been through it. You have to go out and probe all the snow that's left, measure all the ablation of the ice. Nobody ever came back up the glacier twice to do that. It's a September
this
ordeal.
team does it volunteer 43 years straight.
That is impressive. They're doing that as volunteers,
A local bakery is recalling hundreds of loaves of bread after a pallet nail was found in one of them. Grand Central Bakery is recalling potato sourdough. The loaves were sold August 10th at its Seattle area cafes and at grocery stores across the Seattle and Tacoma area. The company says the problem was limited to a single batch of dough. No injuries or illnesses have been reported. Anyone who bought the recalled bread should throw it away.
You may have heard the news that the U.S. debt just hit, well, I guess you would call it a sobering milestone, 40 trillion, that's T for trillion, $40 trillion. I went to the website nationaldebtclock.org to see what that means exactly. Some mind-boggling numbers here. The debt per U.S. citizen is now $116,000. The debt for each U.S. taxpayer is more than $360,000. And look at how the debt to gross domestic product ratio has degraded over the past several decades actually. 52% in 1960, climbing to 122% today. That's the percentage of our debt compared to our annual economic production. It's a gauge of the country's financial health, and it does not look good. A quick look at Washington State shows $102 billion owed according to the debt clock. That's more than $13,000 per citizen.
Back in 2022, a pair of Whatcom County Sheriff's deputies were called to the scene of a report of a man shooting his gun into a neighbor's yard. When those neighbors got there, the man ambushed them, shooting them both. At that point, a couple of neighbors stepped in with their own weapons and laid down fire while those two deputies were being pulled to safety. What you're about to see has never been published before. This is never before seen video of that shootout, and we warn you that it is graphic.
Oh my God.
Bellevue firefighters just tried to save this office building. You can see it is a total loss. Crews dumped water onto the roof of this building where firefighters say the fire spread into the attic. Smoke was pouring out. Firefighters tried to save the building, but at one point they realized they needed to get on defense, get out of the building, and just put the fire out. That's because the fire weakened the trusses of the building so much that the AC units and the furnaces in the attic could have fallen on the crews as they were inside here. Traffic is back open at this intersection. The cause is still under investigation.
That two-page report did not assign blame or determine a cause, but it did provide the clearest picture we have yet of the final moments before that fiery plane crash. Investigators now confirm the pilot was trying to divert and wait out a storm. For the first time, the NTSB confirms what's seen in witness video. The float plane descends nose high, just 4 feet above water, when the left wing suddenly drops. The wingtip and pontoon strike the surface, sending the aircraft skidding into the shoreline before bursting into flames. The NTSB says the pilot radioed Kenmore Air to report bad weather, preventing the flight from continuing. 11 miles out from its destination, the plane did a 180 and flew for 5 miles. The plan was to land near Susha Island and wait for conditions to improve, but then something went wrong as it approached Shallow Bay. Aviation analyst and retired commercial pilot John Nance says it could be more than a year before we have answers.
What exactly happened and what the decision tree was as the pilot approached Susha, that's going to be very critical to the determination of all the things that happened here.
And Kenmore Air says that they are reviewing the report and are still cooperating with the NTSB. And again, we still do not know what exactly went wrong and what the pilot was experiencing in the cockpit. In Seattle, I'm Christian Malderas, King 5 News.
I feel like we need to actually talk to some young fans.
I agree.
And figure out what they like the most. They're the experts, right?
I will be like, do you get all the Seahawks swag for free?
Oh, good and question. I would ask, that's good. You're like, good question.
I like being here with my dad.
Aww.
Oh my goodness.
How far you think the Seahawks are gonna make it this year? Going to the Super Bowl. For sure? Yeah.
How long have you been a fan of the Seahawks?
Only a year.
1 year, that's it? Is
Oh,
it
that's good.
because we won the Super Bowl?
No, it's because he encouraged me.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay.
out of 12.
The truth comes out. Did you force him?
I did not force it. I encouraged it though.
Who is your favorite player?
Sam Donald.
Oh my gosh, Rashid Shaheed.
What
That's your favorite?
to them?
He's really good. He was a rookie, but then he turned into the best player, and I'm glad he joined our team. I'm really glad.
Who is your favorite player?
All of them?
Go Hawks! Go Hawks!
Behind the scenes of hosting an event in Tacoma. We are starting out in Bellevue, going to Chromatique Salon because they're going to do something with the mess that is my hair. We're gonna blow it out, we're gonna get it ready, and I have zero makeup on right now because I actually got microneedling done for the first time. It was amazing. More on that coming soon, but let's get ready, and here's a little behind the scenes video. Cheers.
All the baddest queens rule like this. Yeah, they rule like this. All the baddest queens rule like this. Crown on my head, yeah, I built my own throne. Don't need a king, I can get it alone. Swipe the black card, hit the register, sing. Heard you with the man, but I run everything. Got my own bag, it's a working you see. He wanna text back, but he stuck on scene. I set the price tag, I don't ask for the cost, cause I'm the main.
I was supposed to see a couple other teams, but you know, I like to hear a lot. Like, this feels like home. You know, I got a lot of familiar faces. Coach Scott, AD. You know, so just being a part of those guys knowing me, knowing where my heart is, knowing how I want to compete. So you know, it felt right. I'm looking to show that I'm still the best. You know, I'm looking to show that I just want to win. You know, be there for my teammates, be a great teammate. You know, and be a great player.